It was supposed to be my last night working security at the old Harrington office tower. After 6 months of graveyard shifts, I'd finally landed a better job. Daytime hours, steady pay, no more 3 a.m. walks down silent hallways where the hum of fluorescent lights was the only company I had. But I should have known better. Nobody leaves that building without carrying something with them. The Harrington Tower was a relic. 20 stories of gray concrete built in the 1970s and left mostly empty after the company went bankrupt. Only a few small firms rented offices there, clinging to the cheap leases. That meant most nights, the building was a ghost town. My job was simple. Patrol the floors, check for unlocked doors, watch the cameras, and make sure no one was trespassing. There were rumors, of course. Other guards had quit after claiming they heard voices in empty rooms or footsteps following them in the stairwells. One guy swore he saw a woman standing at the end of the 14th floor hallway, smiling at him in the dark. When he blinked, she was gone. He quit the next day. I laughed it off when I first started. I don't laugh anymore. The night started the same as always. I clocked in at 11 p.m., grabbed my flashlight and radio, and checked the monitors in the security office. Nothing unusual, just endless static shots of lifeless hallways. I told myself I'd make it through one last shift. One more patrol, and I'd never have to set foot in Harrington Tower again. But from the beginning, something felt wrong. The silence was heavier than usual. Normally, I could at least hear the hum of the elevators, or the wind rattling the windows. Tonight, it was like the building itself was holding its breath. At 12:30 a.m., I started my first patrol. Everything was fine until I reached the 14th floor. The second I stepped out of the stairwell, the air changed. It was colder, and my flashlight flickered. I tightened my grip and told myself it was just old wiring. The hallway stretched ahead of me, long, carpeted, lined with office doors. At the far end, one of the lights was out, leaving a patch of darkness I didn't want to walk into. Halfway down the hall, I heard it. Footsteps, not mine. These were behind me, soft but steady, like someone was walking just out of sight. I froze and spun around, shining my flashlight. Nothing. Empty hallway. My heart thudded. "Hello?" I called out, trying to sound firm. My voice echoed, but no reply came. I waited, listening. Silence. I told myself it was nerves. Maybe I'd heard my own footsteps echoing weirdly, but I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was there, watching. I hurried through the rest of the floor, checked the doors, and went back to the stairwell. The second I shut the door behind me, the temperature rose again. My skin prickled like I just walked out of a freezer. Back in the security office, I checked the monitors again. For a while, everything was normal. Then one of the cameras glitched. The feed from the 14th floor flickered, lines of static cutting across the screen. For a second, I swore I saw something standing in the dark patch at the end of the hall. A figure. Still, watching the camera, then the screen went blank. I leaned closer, heart racing. The feed blinked back to normal. The hallway was empty. I told myself it was a glitch, but I couldn't shake what I'd seen. Around 2 a.m., I decided to take another patrol. This time, I took the elevator instead of the stairs, just to break the routine. Bad idea. The elevator groaned as it descended. When it stopped, the door slid open onto the 10th floor. Except, I hadn't pressed that button. The hallway beyond was pitch black. None of the lights were on. I jabbed the close button, heart hammering. The door slid shut, but just before they did, I thought I saw movement. A shadow slipping across the floor. The elevator lurched and continued down. My palms were sweaty on the railing. When I reached the lobby, I almost ran out, but forced myself to keep calm. This was my last night. I wasn't going to let a flicker of shadows get the better of me. Still, I decided I'd stick to the stairs from then on. Around 3:15 a.m., I reached the 17th floor. Most of the offices up here had been empty for years. Dusty furniture, old computers, mirrors, boxes stacked in the corners. I checked each door, rattling the handles to make sure they were locked. When I reached the last office on the left, my stomach dropped. The door was open. That was impossible. I checked it earlier. Every office was supposed to be locked. I pushed the door open with my flashlight beam. The office was dark, but the faint glow of city lights filtered through the blinds. Inside, a desk sat in the center of the room. On it, something was placed neatly in the middle. A chair. Just a chair facing the door, as though someone had been sitting there, waiting for me. But the strangest part, the chair was wet. A dark stain glistened on the seat, dripping slowly onto the carpet. I stumbled back, heart racing. My flashlight flickered again, and in that half second of darkness, I thought I saw something sitting in the chair. A figure. When the light came back, the chair was empty. I slammed the door shut and locked it. My hands shook so badly I almost dropped the keys. Back in the security office, I tried to calm down. I made myself a cup of bad coffee and told myself I was imagining things. Just one last shift. I could do this. At 3:45 a.m., the phone rang. Nobody ever called the security office at night. Nobody. I picked it up with trembling fingers. Security? Silence. Then faintly, "Don't go back upstairs." The voice was a whisper, low and drawn out, like it was right next to my ear. I slammed the phone down, chest tight. My hands were ice cold. The phone rang again. I didn't answer. Instead, I unplugged it from the wall. But even as I did, I swore I heard it. A faint whisper curling out of the dead receiver. At 4:30 a.m., I forced myself out for one last patrol. I couldn't just sit in the office all night. I had to finish my shift. The building was dead silent. My footsteps echoed too loudly in the stairwell. Every time I turned a corner, I expected to see someone, or something, waiting for me. When I reached the 14th floor again, the air was colder than ever. My breath came out in white clouds. The hallway stretched before me, that same dark patch at the end. My flashlight flickered as I raised it. This time, I saw her. A woman standing at the far end, pale skin, long black hair, wearing a gray dress that fluttered even though there was no wind. She was smiling. I froze, heart pounding so hard it hurt. Then slowly, she began to walk towards me. Her footsteps were soft, deliberate. The carpet muffled the sound, but I could feel them, vibrating through the floor. I stumbled backward, fumbling for the stairwell door. But when I looked back, she was closer, much closer. Her face was wrong, too wide. Her mouth stretched unnaturally, grins splitting her cheeks. Her eyes were black pits, reflecting my flashlight. I screamed and bolted through the stairwell door, slamming it shut behind me, but I swear I heard it. Her laugh. A low, rattling giggle that followed me all the way down the stairs. I didn't finish my patrol. I didn't care. I ran. Down the stairs, through the lobby, out into the cold night air. My chest heaved, my legs burned, but I didn't stop until I was in my car with the doors locked. When I looked back at the tower, every light on the 14th floor was on. And in the window, I saw her. Watching me, still smiling. I never went back. I called the company the next morning and quit over the phone. I didn't even collect my last paycheck. But sometimes, late at night, I hear it again. That phone, ringing. And if I'm unlucky enough to pick it up, I know what I'll hear. That same whisper. Don't go back upstairs.
Thank you for watching C&T Horror Stories. Please like and subscribe for more stories.